Hey guys, Adam here with AmericanMuscle.com, and today we're taking a closer look at and installing the sequential LED taillights in the smoked finish available for the 99-04 Mustang, excluding the 99-01 Cobra models. You should be checking this out if you're looking for a stealthy, more aggressive rear end with a modernized taillight that still maintains that iconic tri-bar design. Now, as you know, the 99-04 generation of the SN95 here uses that tri-bar taillight using incandescent bulbs inside of a red or reflective interior lens with a clear lens on the outside. So that is a lot more of a traditional taillight, and if you're looking for something darker, something that's a lot stealthier, this is, in my opinion, one of the stealthiest options in the category. Now, this is going to use a complete LED upgrade, so every brake light, tail light, turn signal, and hazard light are all going to use an LED red, bright, attractive light. Now, those are going to push straight through that smoked lens. Now, just the taillights themselves, no brake lights or turn signals, they may look pretty dim at first, but once you hit those brake lights and once you hit the turn signals, they will light up completely bright. You don't have to worry about the smoked finish hindering any of that light output. Now, the nice thing about this is it's a sequential light, something that the factory lights didn't come with at this older generation. It's something you see a lot more with factory taillights in some of the newer generation Mustangs and other vehicles alike. Now, the sequential is already built into the harness inside of these taillights. You don't have to pick up a separate harness like some of the other lights require you to do in the aftermarket. So being built in, you'll get a sequencing light for the taillights. When you hit the brake lights and the hazards, of course, it'll blink from the inside out. Now, these are actually going to blink pretty rapidly. They're pretty quick, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Some modifications can be made in the aftermarket if you're looking to pick up a module that can actually slow that down if you're looking for a slightly slower sequence. I personally like the quick flashing light. I think it looks really good. It looks very similar to some of the newer vehicles, like I said, and it's already built in. You don't have to mess with it. It's something I like, but obviously if you want to slow it down, you can do so yourself. Now, this light here is going to come in right around $250 for the pair, making them a super affordable aftermarket taillight. Some of them can be $300-400 for the set, and given that everything's built in, ready to go right out of the box, I think it's a perfect price to pay for such a huge difference. Now, the install for this, I'm giving 1 out of 3 wrenches on our difficulty meter. No splicing involved, no cutting, no wiring, none of that nonsense. You're just going to transfer over the factory harness from the back of the stock taillights over to the new one, and the LED harness plugs into one of those bulbs, and I'll walk you through that process in just a minute. Overall, it'll take you about 30 minutes to an hour from start to finish. I'll walk you through it. Let's get started. Tools used in the install include a 1/4-inch ratchet, 10 and 11 millimeter deep sockets, and a Phillips head screwdriver. First step here, pop your trunk, grab a panel removal tool, and we're going to remove this plastic trim by the trunk latch. Now, you can get around this by just pulling back the liner on the left and right side, but you may end up cracking it. Now, to avoid that, you want to remove this and then the liner in one piece. So we're going to grab our panel tool, and we're going to pry up and remove these push pin clips. These are pretty much Christmas tree clips, and by pulling them back, you can see they come straight out. Get all 4 of them off. All right, from there, this panel comes off. Now what we want to do is on the top left and top right of this entire trunk liner piece, we want to remove those clips as well. So you can see we have one here and then the same on the other side. Pops right off. All right. It might be easier for you if you're having trouble, you can unthread it. Sometimes they're threaded in and you can pull back. All right, from here, this piece comes off in one piece, and what I like to do is just push it forward. You don't have to do too much with it. Just push it a little bit forward. Now there are 4 nuts we want to remove. One here, and then if we pull this down, you can see one at the top and one on the far side. Grab an 11 millimeter socket and get these off. Really, once you break them loose, you can get them off by hand. You want to set these aside to be reinstalled later. All right, once you have all 4 of these off, you're going to come back to your taillight harness here. What you're going to do is pull back and disconnect. There's a little tab there that you just need to pull back on, and you pull and disconnect it. It's pretty simple. At this point, we can pull our taillight. All right, from here, what you'll do is pull straight back, And you can see this is still connected. What we want to do is disconnect the harness completely. But as you can see, there's a rubber grommet going through the hole. From the inside, you can really just push and also pull back on that grommet and it'll disconnect, just like that. All right, we can set our factory one aside. So we got our factory taillight off of the 99 GT behind me, and it's on the table next to our new LED sequential taillight. And I want to take you through some similarities and differences between the two kits here. And the first thing I want to start off with is the technology. Now, the factory taillight has the traditional incandescent bulbs for the 3 tri-bar lights there, brake lights, and turn signals. And they're not going to be as bright, they're not as attractive, it's definitely not as modern as the LED option here, which is, again, a complete LED replacement with the exception of the reverse light, which will reuse the factory incandescent one for that. Now this guy is going to not only be brighter and more attractive, but it's also going to look a lot more aggressive inside of a black housing with a smoked lens. Now that isn't going to impede any of the light output because these LEDs are so bright and vibrant. Sometimes if you're using a smoked lens over a factory bulb like the incandescents, it can really diminish some of that light output. Not really the case with the LEDs here just because they are so bright to begin with. That's going to give you the stealthier look at the rear as well, given the black housing on the inside and the smoked lens on the outside. So it's really the darkest of the dark there. Now when it comes to the sequential operation, it's something that the factory taillight doesn't offer whatsoever. That's going to be built into the harness, already pre-wired into the taillight here. So when you turn on your turn signals, when you hit your hazard lights, and when you press your brake pedal, these will illuminate in sequence pretty quickly, as a matter of fact. It's going to illuminate from the inside out, going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, just like that. And of course, your factory light only blinked with 2 lights for those as well. Now this isn't going to require any wiring or anything like that. Like I said, it's all pre-wired. The only thing we do have to do is transfer over all of the factory harness from the back of the stock taillights. We're going to remove all of the bulbs, however, from the sockets before installing them onto the new taillight, just because there isn't going to be any clearance in there with all of the LED chips that are inside of the taillight, and we don't need those bulbs anyway because it's LED. The only one we're going to be leaving again is the reverse light, which will stay on the bottom of the taillight. We are going to plug in this plug-and-play harness on the back of the taillight to one of the 2 bulb sockets on the back that have a black socket connector, and I'll show you guys that in just a second. The only other thing I recommend doing here that you're going to need to do is remove the resistor box. The resistor box is screwed in with 2 Phillips head screws. There isn't enough clearance to get the studs all the way through the housing on the vehicle, so we're going to pop that guy off, and then you have 3M tape on the back. I recommend just sticking it to the inside or sticking it to the vehicle there, of course, just to make sure it's out of the way and making sure the taillight mounts properly. With that said, let's uninstall this box first, then we're going to swap over the harness. Next, looking at the back of the new taillight, let's get that resistor box off. Just grab a Phillips head screwdriver. You're going to remove the 2 screws, again, one at the top, one at the bottom. This is going to help give you some clearance when installing it in the vehicle. All right, just going to keep uninstalling that screw. Same thing on the bottom. All right, I'm actually just going to put those screws back in just in case we ever want to return to stock and you want to put this back together like it was out of the box. You can have those little Phillips head screws still in there for later in case you ever want to go put it back. Just going to make sure that I put them all the way down so they don't impede on any clearance issues going into the vehicle. Now, of course, this guy, I'm going to recommend just tucking up in there, but we're going to wait till we're in the vehicle just to make sure it has some clearance. From there, let's transfer over the factory harness. From here, on the back of the factory taillight, you're going to look at all 3 of these bulb connectors, and then there's a reverse light on the bottom. You're going to twist counterclockwise until you hear that click, pull it straight back. Do that for all 3. Now for these 3, these are your taillights and your turn signals. Pop those bulbs right out of the socket, just like that. You're just going to pull from the base. Don't pull from the bulb. You might end up cracking it, and that can obviously cut yourself. But pull from the base, just like that, on all 3. Boom. Now what we can do is do the same thing for the reverse light. Counterclockwise, pop it out. We're going to leave that bulb in because we're going to need that transferring it over. All right, now these harnesses are pinned in, so you may need to pull them out just like that. Now we can swap them over. Next, what you can do is pop the reverse light into the bottom socket. I'm going to do that first because that one still has the bulb in it. Just rotate it around until it pops into place. Just like that. Turn it clockwise to lock it in place. Next, we can bring up the taillights, starting with the gray connector or the tan connector. Just going to put that guy off to the side here. Lock that in place. Now you can see for these 2, we have one harness coming out that actually has a connector. The top one there doesn't have anything. So I'm going to put the top connector, I'm going to put the top socket in first, lock that in place. For the last one here, you're going to take the LED harness and you're gonna plug it into the bulb socket. Now it doesn't actually matter which of these you actually go to, just because it's just pulling power to make sure it sequences properly. All right, so you're just gonna plug that into where the bulb was, make sure it seats all the way, and then you can seat that socket into the housing. Lock it in place. That's gonna draw power, make sure it sequences properly, just make sure it's plugged in. While we're here on the table, we might as well take care of that resistor. Peel off the backing on the 3M strips. I'm gonna go right to the inside, and again, you can put this anywhere as long as it doesn't impede on the light actually being installed. Stick it right onto the inside there. Now we can install our taillight. First step for the install here, we're gonna start by taking the new wiring harness, feeding it through the hole, and making sure the grommet seals nicely into that hole. And then we'll just mount all 4 studs back into the vehicle and tighten it down from the inside. All right, with that harness fed through, you wanna pull it from the inside to make sure that that grommet seals. You can even push it from the outside to make sure it clips all the way in there. Make sure the wiring harness is out of the way and not gonna impede on those studs pushing through. And then you can just put that guy back into position. Just like that. Take the factory nuts and tighten them down to all the studs. All right, I'm just gonna kind of go here, then there's one here, and then there's 2 on the inside. Peel back your liner. Do the same thing for the inner ones. All right, now we can reconnect that connector. Make sure you hear that snap. Pull your carpet liner back in place here. Repeat on the other side, and you're good to go. That's gonna wrap up my review and install for the sequential taillights and the smoked finish with the LEDs, available for the 99-04 Mustang, excluding 99-01 Cobras. Get yours right here at AmericanMuscle.com.